In the middle 70s, I lived in Costa Rica with my then toddler son, Noah. And I ran out of clasps. So I sat down and tried to work out how they were made sort of from Etruscan times on. So I worked with my pliers and I made this clasp. And Robert Lew from Ornament magazine refers to it as an Egyptian clasp. So that's what we call it. It's not easy to make, but if you can master it, it's just the perfect thing when you're making jewelry that has an ethnic look to it and you don't want to use a modern looking clasp, because that can be just the thing that turns the design over. It's strong, it's really effective, and it holds together. So I'm going to show you how it's made. I'm going to make the loop end of this Egyptian clasp using less than a foot of 20 gauge half hard silver wire. And I'm going to start by making a right angle with the tip of my pliers, like that. And then I'm going to take the pliers at this angle and I'm going to make a loop. And as it gets to a place on my finger where it can't get any further, I have to open my pliers and give it some room so that I can bring this part of the wire a little further through. So now you have this. Then I take the tip of my pliers and bring that wire back so that now these two are running parallel to each other, like that. Then we go up the wire with the tip of the pliers, and the little end of the wire is on that side. And I turn it back down so that these two are parallel to each other, and I take the end here and I do a little squeeze so that it looks like that. Now get back down to this end, make sure everything's happy and parallel, and it looks like this. So I make a bend like so, so then it looks like that. Then I put my pliers into this loop until they're in as far as they'll go, so it's nice and tight, and I bring the other wire around. So now I have two loops there, and I'm going to bring this wire to a right angle like that. I'm going to start to wind it around and up like that. And you've got to keep your wire nice and at a right angle. That's very important, because if it's either direction, if it strays in either direction, the coil will get funky and out of alignment. It's got to be nice and straight. So you wind it around, keeping it nice and tight. And you do about a third of the way up. Let's see. Yes, to about there. I'm going to do one more. I like a nice long coil. So now I'm going to cut this wire, and I'm going to make sure that the end of it, when I cut it, ends up in between these two wires. And give it a nice little squeeze. So now the end is in between these two wires. The reason for that is that if you cut your wire and it ends up on the side, it's like a little burr, and when the hook and eye, when the clasp is being worn at the nape of the neck, it can catch the hairs. And by the way, if you see that your coil isn't totally joined together here, you can go in and give it a squeeze and pack it a little tighter, not a problem. So the next thing is to take the little end here and give it a slight angle like that. See, it's got a little angle. Then you take the pliers and you put them right here, just a sort of fairly close to the end of your pliers, and you bend it actually the same way as that little end, so it looks like that. Then you take the fat part of your pliers and you bend your hook around. Again, you can ease it until you get this.